Now, let's bring in right now the chairman of the DCCC, Democrat, Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney of New York. I would say two things can be true at one time. The chairman had a great night. In fact, a historic night. You can go back and look at midterms going all the way back to JFK. And nobody in your position had as great a night as you did in an off-year election when Democrats were in power. Of course, there's also the other side of it where you lost your race. But I'm wondering if you're thinking what I'm thinking when I heard the news, which is you got Republicans to train so much fire on you as far as political fire. $6 million, $7 million, $8 million to try to take you, just one person out because it was so more, $10 million, whatever it was. Okay, if they hadn't spent that money on you, they would have spent it on about 10 other candidates, and they probably would have had a much better night. So actually, you helped your caucus in about 1 million different ways.
Well, that's generous. But I will accept the kind words on behalf of the candidates who worked their heart out. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears for 2 years. And if we did better than anybody expected, it's because we have a good president, ladies and gentlemen, and a rock star in the Speaker of the House who delivered an economic agenda and a democracy agenda that has really moved our country back from the madness and insanity of the pandemic and the Trump years. I
understand we have a picture of Nancy and you here. I understand Nancy reached out to you and thanked you for taking an arrow for Democrats and for defending them the way you did and helping them have such a great night.
Yeah, well, before you carved me in marble, I lost my seat, and I wish it was up on that projection of yours, because right now, as we sit here, no one can tell you with certainty who holds the majority in the House of Representatives. The fact that we're talking about that should give everybody a little bit of humility in the press who wrote us off for 2 years. And I am concerned that a bunch of Democrats might have listened to you, because the fact is that we were always going to be competitive because we had such great candidates and such great leadership in the Speaker and in the President. And I'm telling you right now, I agree with your projection. It might be a little low. And when you consider that, we started with 220 in their seats, a couple of vacancies, 30 people walking out the door.
Yeah.
And so about 185 or so people who were trying to come back.
Well, and the redistricting.
Well, thank you for mentioning it. And I think that, you lose probably 3 to 5. I think fairly, probably just out of redistricting. So if you go from low 180s to 215 with the headwinds we had, I just want people to be clear. This wasn't some high pressure system that moved in and blew the clouds of the MAGA movement away. This was because there were Democrats who believed in this, our volunteers, our donors, our candidates, my goodness. And I am so proud of that effort. And I wish more people had believed in it. I wish a few of those Democrats had stayed. I wish we had, I really feel personally responsible that we didn't deliver the majority. We're going to come darn close. But I always believed it was possible. There's still a narrow path, and I want people to understand this is a work day for me and for the Democrats in the House. We are not done. A lot of these people ended the election on Tuesday night. Right. We are still making sure every legal vote is counted. We are in court. We are around the country. We are curing absentee ballots. We have easily 24 races where it still really matters that we work at this. And we are not going to let them steal a single seat. I can tell you that.
So, Claire, obviously, you've been through this extraordinarily difficult situation. At the same time, we're not carving Sean up marble. It's just speaking the truth to say that Tuesday night was a historic night for a party in power. I've never seen. Dave Wasserman says he's never seen anything like it. I know in my lifetime, I have never seen a party, including 2002 and 98, that did as well as the Democrats did when they were in power, when they owned Washington.
Yeah, I will. First of all, I'll tell you from experience, it's great out here. This is not the end of the world, I promise you.
Wait, can I ask you something? I've heard there's this day between Friday and Monday when people don't work. Is that true?
It's true. It is actually. You have no idea how hard you've been working until you get out in the real world and realize that there's a world out there. I feel guilty. I'm so happy. So I think one of the things that I'd like to ask you about is the fundraising piece and how it has changed. I don't think people realize, and I don't think anybody has looked in the camera and thanked the millions of people out there that gave $5.
Yeah.
The millions of people that gave $10. Our viewership is full of those people that found a race, whether it was in California, Colorado, New Jersey, New York, and they gave a little bit of money they could afford. We raised so much more money, not from the backroom dark money folks, but from real people. By the way, that money on the Republican side, it's sitting at Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
Yeah.
The Republican candidates were so disadvantaged because all the grassroots giving, which has become huge with the internet, is going to Donald Trump, whereas the grassroots giving on our side, by and large, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, is going to the Democratic candidates.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. And I should probably mention we're still raising money, so
Yes.
you can still help. And your $5
Another
does
$5
count
would be
because
great.
Look, we're still fighting in these races. But let me tell you something, that you are absolutely right about that. And our small donors are so important, so thank you. I also think we have to mention that the Congressional Leadership Fund, the Republican dark money super PAC, 8 people gave over $70 million to that effort. 8 people. And so that's about the difference, by the way, of what they raised and what we did on the outside. We beat them head-to-head, DCCC versus the NRCC. I'm very proud of that when nobody thought we could win. But that enormous dark money advantage, largely fueled by the richest people in the country, and a handful of them, is one place where they absolutely had an advantage on us. Now, thank you for mentioning that. I think they could have won 2 or 3 seats with what they wasted winning my seat, but I think there was a lot of inefficiency in the way they spent it, and you'd rather have the money at the candidate level because we get cheaper TV rates when the candidates spend it. And so our candidates, including those who fell a little short, by the way, people like Elaine Luria, people like Sidney Axne, Tom Malinowski, I mean, they put their heart and soul into this, and they came so close. And those were the hardest districts in the country. We started winning at Angie Craig. We started winning at Jared Golden. We started winning at Susan Wild in Pennsylvania. I mean, Matt Cartwright, double Trump district, guys winning. With all the headwinds and all the expectation settings. Yeah. So I just wish we got to 218, and I'm not happy about it. But I think that we can stage from the look. We stood our ground. And we did it because our president and the speaker delivered an agenda through the House of Representatives and the Congress that tackled the biggest issues in our country, from climate change to the racial crisis. And I don't want the substance to get lost in the political conversation. We're fighting for something, and we're delivering on it. We got more work to do on voting rights and on everything we fell short on. But I do think that was a part of this. And I know fighting for reproductive freedom mattered. We were treated to a lot of second guessing on that messaging. But I do think what we're standing for is at the heart of our success, if you can call it that, on Tuesday night.
Yeah, boy, Willie, I got to say,
I don't want to lose sight of that.
Joe Biden was mocked by so many people on the right for talking about abortion. It just made a massive difference.
Huge issue. And democracy. People question his message about democracy, and people went out and voted on that. What is your assessment, Congressman, not just of your race, but of what happened across New York State? You had a governor in a fight for her life. She held off Lee Zeldin there. Those 4 races out on Long Island all went to Republicans. What was going on in New York this cycle?
All right, well, here's as simple as I can make it. New York was clearly an outlier. If you look at what happened around the country, we were worried about the Pacific Northwest. It actually came back around. Yeah. There were definitely places where we saw harder slogging for our candidates. Other places like Michigan or Pennsylvania or North Carolina, we were consistently stronger, and we knew it. It is clearly a blast radius around New York City. And I want to say this so nobody has any misunderstanding. Under any iteration of the map, the top of the ticket would have lost the seats on Long Island by double digits. That's a problem. When you've got open seats, the Swazi and Rice seats, didn't change in any iteration of the maps. and the governor's losing them by double digits. So our candidate's got to outperform the governor by more than 10 points, often more than 15 points. That's a lot to ask of a first-time.
That's rough.
And by the way, without a handful of voters in New York 18, we would have lost in all the suburban districts in the Hudson Valley.
And by the way, really quickly, put this back up again, because again, there are a lot of people that have been saying, "Oh, you said Hochul wasn't going to win, or it was going to be close, and she ended up winning." She should have won by 20 points. And the fact she won by 5 points, 6 points, the fact she got absolutely hammered out on Long Island made a difference. Listen, I'm saying it, not you. I'm just saying, though, it made a difference. And there are 4 less Democratic members of Congress because of it.
Yeah, no, that's right. And that's a hard thing to swallow. And the fact that my seat's one of them bothers me, because the majority could have been won. And it was our inability to speak to voters in suburban New York City, again, under any iteration of the maps, that could have made the difference. Now, I think we own that as Democrats. I'm not blaming the governor, by the way, and I'm not blaming your last guest. I think the mayor of New York's part of the solution. He's trying to clean up the city, and good. But that's just the reality of any fair analysis, and blame me because I should have won 3,000 more votes.
We won't do that.
But what I mean is that to do so, I would have had to outperform the top of the ticket by 10 or 12 points. That's a tall order. And yeah, I was definitely walking and chewing gum at the same time. Yeah. And I let people down, and that bums me out. But I'll tell you what it says to me is that we are competitive as a national party in the worst possible context. And I think people should be energized by that, to keep fighting for what matters, stand your ground on all the things from democracy to climate change to racial justice to economic justice in this country. And we're going to come back in a big way in 24.
Right.
Well, I know we haven't seen the last of you. We'll talk to you much more. We've got some more races still to be decided. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning.
Congressman, thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.